Next, we have the member for Guelph.
Speaker. You know, it's bad enough that the government fast-tracked this bill through time allocation and limited the amount of public input that's being allowed, which I think is one of the reasons that people are deeply concerned about debating the committee report on this bill, especially when the government brings forward amendments at the last minute that basically says that if you're a vulnerable road user, a cyclist in Toronto, you don't even necessarily be a resident of Toronto. My seatmate here from Kitchener Centre cycles up University almost every day from the GO station when she commutes in. If you're injured, you're killed, you're not able to sue the government for putting your life at risk. What does that tell you about this government's priorities and how much they care or don't care about public safety? Speaker, we know that the biggest barrier to more people cycling is safety concerns. And this government is basically saying with these amendments to this bill, we don't care about your safety. As a matter of fact, if your safety is threatened and you want some legal recourse for that, we're not even going to allow you to have that step. And so let's talk about transparency and access. Let's talk about people being able to come to committee and talk about this bill. Let's talk about drivers like myself. I drive my electric vehicle into Queen's Park pretty much every week. I drive along Bloor a lot, and I drive up University a lot, Speaker. And every time I'm commuting here, I look at the cyclists going past me, and as a driver, I say, thank you, cyclists. Thank you for choosing an affordable option for you and an option that reduces gridlock for me because it's one less vehicle on the road, and now that's being taken away. When I go along Bloor Street and I go to support businesses along Bloor, especially the Bloor Street BIA, and they tell me, like what's happening in jurisdictions all over the world, that when you bring in safe cycling infrastructure, cyclists shop local. They support local businesses. They benefit the local economy. Matter of fact, sales along Bloor Street, particularly in the Annex region, out through High Park region, their sales have gone up because they don't want to be a thoroughfare. They actually want to be a neighborhood where people stop and shop locally. And having that cycling infrastructure there is good for businesses, good for the local economy. The member talks about gridlock. Well, I would suggest that the member travel the 401. So I come in from Guelph to Toronto all the time on the 401. When the 401 widening between Toronto and Milton was completed about a year and a half ago, it was fantastic. My commute time went down for 3 months, Speaker, for about 3 months. And now it's pure gridlock again because we have 75 years of data that shows that when you build new highways and expand existing highways, it leads to more gridlock. That's exactly what's going to happen with 413, which is why I don't think they want an environmental assessment or any expert analysis on 413, because they know it's going to show it's going to make gridlock worse. As a matter of fact, they were actually denying an environmental assessment on 413. Toronto this summer experienced $4 billion worth of flood damage. And if you're going to build a highway over the headwaters of two of the major rivers coming into Toronto, you're actually going to increase flood risk. So I would say we shouldn't even build the highway, but if the government is going to insist on wasting $10 to $13 billion that aren't going to benefit anyone else in the province and force people from Bracebridge and Sudbury and other places pay to remove bike lanes, at the very least they should do an environmental assessment to make sure we mitigate flood risk. But that didn't happen either. Instead, we're fast-tracking this bill through without proper assessment and analysis. Thank you, Speaker.